Hello people of the earth and welcome back to QuickSave TV. My name is Mike and this is my series QuickSave Daily, in which we pick up a random topic and just talk about it for a little bit, preferably 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Sometimes it goes like for several 100,000 hours, but preferably we shall stray away from that. The game in the background is one and only an epic, amazing blend of action RPG and Castlevania-ish gameplay. You have to pick it up if you didn't already. Absolutely amazing game by Spanish developer. I've been playing it for hours. I really love it, it's immense. Today's topic is going to be about where the industry is moving towards with all this DRM product protection and how does it hurt the industry in the long run, in my opinion. If any of you, just as myself, grew up on video games, we all had different consoles, right? Sometimes you ask like a guy, what did you have? What did you grow up on? He's gonna answer Sega Dreamcast, and the other one is gonna say, I grew up on Xbox, I grew up on PS, right? Whatever it is. Others will say, I grew up on Nintendo Entertainment System, like Mario, like Tetris, and etc, etc. City Tanks, oh my goodness, that was the best game ever in the history of humankind. Everyone had different stuff, and in order to actually experience all of them I had the experience through friends, to go to them and actually play these games, which was, again, a lot of fun, but difficult, because I couldn't stay at their houses and mother would not allow sleepovers. She would be like, what are you, a beggar or something? Go home and do something productive like study lessons, which I never did. No one would actually go to me because I was living on the desolate part of the city, on a far away mountains. Or how I like to call them, very close to the airport, so no one would actually go to me. I would instead go to them and enjoy much more because they had much better consoles than I did. I had a very primitive computer, a Nintendo Entertainment System. They had Sony PlayStation 2 and Sega Dreamcast. Dreamcast was amazing. We were playing a lot of Quake 3 Arena on it. On the PS2 we played other games as well, so it was a lot of fun. And with that, what I'm trying to say is gaming changed a lot, right? The games I bought back in the day, I can still actually take the CD and install the game and just enjoy them. Whereas right now, the way we're moving towards is we have this Steams, we have Dezuras, and etc, all these platforms. We have Battle.net, in some conditions actually forcing you to be logged in and to actually play the game. In case of Diablo 3, with StarCraft 2, you have a limited experience without logging into the game, you can still play it. But in case of World of Warcraft and Diablo 3, you obviously have to play on the server, right? So you have to be always logged in, so the internet connection is required. What many people do not realize is these games will eventually die out and die off, and which means that our grandsons most possibly will not be able to experience these games, which is a big pain in the butt, if you ask my opinion, because I would like to have them for an unlimited amount of time, not for a limited amount of time. What I'm trying to say here is, if in 10 years Blizzard closes down, God forbid, but if it happens, all these games will be dead with it. No one will support them. The only way to actually play them will be to emulate servers, which is complicated procedure and which is associated with piracy, or to actually crack their games to play in offline mode or whatever, again, which is associated with piracy. Now, my point is, why do game developers today force people to actually use piracy in order to enjoy the games, which will slowly die off? That's just how it works. So rather than extending the life cycle of their games, they just going to kill them in such fashion. The Steam, eventually, I am afraid it will die off if we're unlucky, right? Desura might also die off. If they die off, all the games which are associated with their accounts will not work. You will not be able to play them because their architecture is such that you have to have the Steam connected and whatever. It's very difficult, all of this makes it very difficult. Indie games that are coming out today will actually outlast many AAA titles because they can be installed without any DRM protection, which I think is a big plus. Many people are going to say, oh, you know what, the DRM protects against piracy. Yes, it's true, it's correct, okay, it's awesome, you're right. Cool. DRM can be hacked, okay? There ain't no problem with that. All the games up until right now were hacked, and you know that. Whether or not you're associated with piracy or not, they were hacked. Entire Steam databases were hacked. Entire Steam game lists were hacked and allowed players to play them for free, okay? This is all around the internet. Just search for this news. This is all not something new. DRM is not particularly effective at defending their games, And the only strong example of a game that was not actually hacked at all, which was too complicated and bothersome to hack it, I think was Assassin's Creed, and it took them over several months to actually hack it. But the point is of what I'm trying to say, people will buy games if they want to support specific developers. As long as you don't screw them over, people will want to buy your games, support your work, and then actually want to see more from you. What is the justification to use DRM protection, especially so sophisticated that the game will not even work if the systems which support it die out, okay? Which means that the CDs today we get, no wonder nobody cares about CDs. CDs became obsolete. You made them obsolete. This is wrong. CDs shouldn't be obsolete. CDs with games, When I buy a music CD, I have this CD and I can listen to this music for as many times as I want until the CD breaks down, which is much better prospect than actually having been forced to download things from the internet, especially when my connection is poor, especially when I'm forced to download updates, especially when I'm forced to connect to this system, to play through the system, which I don't even like and not comfortable for me. A very simple example, let's compare modding in Oblivion and in Skyrim. Oblivion, you buy the CD, you have the CD key, you install the game, you always have to have a CD to launch the game. Fine, doesn't bother me, great. I had all these patches sorted out back then when you have to download them from the site of the game. Then I had all the mods lined up, all in the database so I can easily pick up whatever I want, write down what I think about them, write down if they work or not. In Skyrim, we have Steam, and Steam pulls your balls every time you need to install the patch. Do you want to install the patch? Oh, no, wait a second. They don't even ask me anymore. They just install the patch. Well, thank you very much for sabotaging my work process. I didn't want this patch. It doesn't change anything that I'm interested in. But there is no freedom for me now. Now, for some reason, with the recent update, I cannot even cancel the automatic update of Steam, which pisses me off immensely, and I don't know how to work with it now. It's very difficult. These things are very important. Modding extends the life cycle of the game. Make modding more complicated, many people will turn away from it. It's very, very problematic. I do understand Steam is comfortable for many people, but I do not require such help. I can set it up myself. There is no problem for me, okay? I grew up with this stuff. There's no problem for me to set it up. But it hurts in the manner that you cannot actually be mobile with these things. You're all attached to the stupid internet. You're all attached to Steams and Juzuras and whatever else, to Origin, to Battle.net. It's just wrong, okay? And these cities which line on a bookshelf, they just don't work anymore, I much rather prefer the releases the type they had in the early 2000s, okay? When they had the CD, they had a CD key, they had the stupid Star Force. Okay, I can live with Star Force. Better than, that Star Force was not perfect again, because Star Force refuses to launch on Windows 7. I tried to play one of my old games. Yeah, Star Force doesn't work with Windows 7, but do I care? I just want to play the game, I paid for it. Why should I suffer for your idiotic protection systems? Why should I just sit here and just, suffer through that? Well, anyway, point is, today I feel much more comfortable and safe buying indie games than I'm feeling when I'm buying many AAA titles. Because of this DRM protection and the way they work, they just will not last. In 10 years, I will not be able to experience them once again, even though I would like to experience some of them, okay? Just recently I wanted to play Manhunt. What do you think? No, it doesn't want to launch, okay? It doesn't want to launch because of Star Force. It doesn't really work with me for some reason. I don't understand why, but yeah, Star Force protection. God-awful piece of shit. Wish all of you have cancer, whoever had anything with developing with this bullshit. I mean, what the hell, people? Can't you just engineer something decent once in a while? Anyway, thank you so much for listening, thank you so much for watching, have a greatest day, and bye-bye.